All right guys, the next scenario is going to be an active shooter scenario, so make sure when you're going through the scenario, using proper commands, proper communication, and proper tactics when dealing with the situation, and act appropriately. You have to use the force you think you need to use.
Understood.
All right, ready to get ready?
Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Get your hands up. Let me see your hands. Come forward, sir. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands.
Officer Mano with the Meadows Place Police Department. Our department's fortunate enough to have the laser shot simulator, which hosts a wide variety of programs, range from paper targets to shooter scenarios. It provides an invaluable resource. It's cost effective. Just can't afford to go to the range every single day and shoot rounds, but it also provides something that shooting traditional firearms doesn't, which is the scenarios and everything. So it was really interesting to actually be able to interact with the program, use varying levels of force from command presence, verbal, to actually using a provided baton, taser, and firearm. Just a really effective way of training without the use of traditional firearms. So when I went through the JTS simulator, one of the scenarios was an unruly patron at the bar. And while it is a simulation, it was realistic enough to where I became immersed and my training kicked in. So not only was I paying attention to the unruly patron, looking around, there were actually patrons at the bar in the back, one of which pulled a firearm, which is surprising. I wouldn't expect that from a training simulator, but he did. He pulled a firearm, and another scenario pulled a phone. It was just a wide variety of circumstances, and you had to react differently to each one. There's also a school shooter scenario, which enabled us to use barriers that were provided. And we went through the scenario, going through the hallways, encountering the shooter, and it allowed us to implement techniques we learned in the academy and in training afterward as well, which included shooting from the weak side around the barrier, transitioning to my left hand, which it's kind of hard to practice. Depending on the shooting range that you go to, it can be hard to practice in real life, but it made it very easy to do so in the simulator. So running up to the barrier, practicing weak side, strong side, it just allows you to really go through the motions and get a feel for what you're supposed to do in that real life situation. So it's very dynamic, kept me on my toes, and I highly recommend it to any department.